Trump says minerals deal with Ukraine to be signed next Thursday. This is very, very important if they pull this off. Rob, is this it? Is this the clip? Go for it, buddy.
He said we could see a minerals deal signed this week. Is that
Well, we have a minerals deal, which I guess is going to be signed on Thursday, Scott, next Thursday, soon. And I assume they're going to live up to the deal, so we'll see. But we have a deal on that. No, I have no comment on that. I have no idea. That's his statement, not mine.
He doesn't seem too confident about it.
No.
Okay, let me read the rest in time. I'm going to give it to you. So President Trump announced in the Oval Office to Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni that an 80-page mineral deal with Ukraine will be signed next Thursday, though Secretary Scott Bessent clarified it would likely occur on April 26th, with the U.S. reducing its repayment demands for Ukraine and its fight against Russia from $300 billion to $100 billion. Ukrainian President Zelensky, after meeting with Trump administration, said good progress has been made and a memorandum of understanding could be signed at any moment, but Bessent revealed Zelensky was supposed to sign that during his February visit, instead bypassing it for the big deal, which Zelensky refused, causing a televised Oval Office confrontation, which we've all seen that. Tom, go ahead.
So there's the what and there's the how. Here's the what. Rare earth minerals are important. Lithium, cobalt, things like that. They're in your phone. They're in the batteries for EVs. They're in batteries on your phone, as a matter of fact. And they are critically important, and they're called rare earth minerals because they're very rare. They're only in certain areas around the world. Just like gold is only in certain areas around the world. Oil is only in certain areas around the world. So are these. That's the what. We need that to keep driving a technologically advanced economy, and we need lots of that. We need a supply of that. And when we were dependent on the Middle East for oil in the 70s and early 80s, that was bad. That's why drill, baby, drill, because we have oil. We have it. Well, for rare earth minerals, it's not dig, baby, dig, because we don't have them everywhere. And so we need partners. And recently, China has said that as part of this trade war, that they are embargoing us and saying you don't get the rare earth minerals. This is exactly what Trump feared, and that's why, before everyone understood the how, why Trump was there at the Oval Office back with Vance and Zelensky when that whole thing happened, going at each other there, and he then refused to sign the minerals deal because Trump said, I got a great idea. I'll give you a little discount on what you owe me back, but then you can pay me in rare earth minerals that I need for my economy. The art of the deal, that was good, and that slipped. Well, now we need it even more, and it appears, there's no word of whether this was in there previously, but it appears that what's on the table now, and they call this a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, that we're going to reduce what you owe from 300 to 100, and you're going to pay with the rare earth minerals. If we get it done, this is a good thing for the U.S. economy to get access to the rare earth minerals.
How much do you think Zelensky knows that the U.S. desperately needs that minerals deal, and he's intentionally delaying it?
I think he knows it a lot, and I think he's a player, and I don't think he really cares about his country. I think there's a lot of things going on.
Why would he delay it? Give me 3 reasons why he would delay it.
Because
is it one is giving a middle finger to Trump? I get that. What else? What are 2 other?
I think he wants more. I don't think he wants a discount. I think he wants cash, because that's always what he comes looking for. And they take the cash, they skim it, then they send some of it to, ironically, back to U.S. companies, and they buy arms and stuff. And I think he wants cash. I think that's what it is. That's why he's manipulating it. And I think he also looks over his shoulder and saying, yeah, and I notice you don't have a deal with Greenland yet. You only have this negotiated détente with Greenland, where Greenland is slow-rolling China. Because remember, China's trying to get a deal with Greenland to dig rare earth in Greenland. So in addition to their own rare earth and to have their rare earth, China's trying to play the monopoly game and get all the yellows, because a set of yellows is rare earth minerals, which means they control any technology economies because they control that supply. That's what's going on. And Greenland, would be a big help. And haven't heard words about Greenland recently because we've been trying to get that deal done. So I think Zelensky knows. I think he wants cash. He always wants a little more, always wants a little more,
Let me ask you, who can help in this situation? Because Putin's also not helping, right? Putin's also not helping the fact that he's not wanting to come to the table. It's almost like he's trying to say, hey, Trump, mind your own business. I'm dealing with my kid here. Ukraine. This is none of your business. Leave it alone. I'll let you know when we want to do something. You don't dictate the terms. Is that kind of the vibe you get from Putin?
That's the vibe I get. And there are two words that would that the rest of the world would probably flip out at. But there's two words that Trump could utter to Putin to help move that forward: Crimea and Donbass. And say, tell you what, we draw the new line, Crimea, Donbass, we call off the war, we do all this. Do you see what I mean? And I think, remember, Russia feels that that is historically theirs. They feel that the creation of Ukraine stepped on their historical territory, and they've been upset about it for, as long as Ukraine has been separate. And so I think that's what Putin also has his desires, and it's territory and what he says is legitimate, Russian historical soil.
Does Ukraine have a deal with China at all? Rob, can you check that? Does Ukraine have a deal with China on minerals? Do they have a mineral deal? I don't think they need them, but let's just see if there's anything
I haven't
there.
heard of one.
Yeah. Of China said exactly engaging Western nations. Okay.
Yeah, this is a pretzel, and this is really important. Yeah. This is an important deal to get.
I don't know, Tom. There's 20 different ways you can get good news for the economy. Okay. So, new jobs report. All right, cool. Low unemployment. All right, great. Inflation. Okay, it's going down. Okay, hey, the stock market's doing well. All right, cool. Hey, crypto's up. All right, cool. We lowered our national debt. So far, none of those we have. We brokered a new trade deal. Okay. What else? What else can you say? With that?
Yeah, the trade deal thing, like India. Like, hey, we're progressing with India. I changed my mind. We're going to move interest rates down.
Right. I changed my mind. Jerome Powell. Okay. Taxes are going down. The new tax plan is ready. It's going down.
Especially for the middle class that already is maxed out on credit cards, so that they could actually spend a little bit.
Right. Sales, spending, consumer confidence is up. Right. What good news do they have right now?
Right now?
Right now. What good news do they have right now?
Literally, J.D. Vance at the podium has been the best news that I've seen in about a week since the jobs report came out that showed February was pretty strong. That was like a hard, remember that? That was like a hard number victory. Hey, people are hiring.
Yeah.
Things are that. But since that, we're looking for not sentiment, but looking for signatures and numbers. That's what I'm waiting for, signatures and numbers.
Adam.
So what's the question? Or do you want me to comment on what?
Comment on what we just talked about.
What would be good news for the economy?
A war
for the economy overall? I mean, everything's being disrupted right now. I sent this to Rob. I'm a fan of this guy, Fareed Zakaria, and he coined something called the post-American world, and how essentially whether it's Trump sort of being the disruptor or whether it's the world sort of reacting and basically no longer necessarily relying on America. I could argue this is a good thing. I could argue that this is a bad thing, but the basic premise is now that the Trump administration has basically had this revolution on foreign policy, economic nationalism, basically freeing ourselves from all these trade agreements, World Health Organization, tariffs, everything that he's doing, how every country is now going to seek independence from their dependence that they've had on America for the last 70 years, whether that's through protectionism or economic advancements, or whether that's through literally us protecting them with our troops, our bases all around the world. But there's a part of this. I don't know if you can show this clip, Rob, or actually show the part of it, but they singled out at the very beginning. They talked about how there's the foreign minister of Singapore, and basically they're pro-American, but they're also on Chinese side of the world, and they basically have to balance. There it is right here. He said basically how America has changed from great liberator to great disruptor to now a landlord seeking rent. And, that's sort of a jab at Trump, basically saying, time to pay up, it's payback time, which I understand. But now if you kind of go on this clip, the EU is now basically saying, all right, the U.S. is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order. This makes for international environment far less orderly and predictable. And there's probably one more quote that you can find from the EU. right here. If it's coming up right here, here it goes. This is from Germany's likely next chancellor. They say, Friedrich Merz. He says, that's Tom's accent if you want to do it, Tom. My absolute priority would be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible so that step by step we can really achieve independence from the USA. I never thought I'd have to say something like this, but after Donald Trump's statements, it is clear that the Americans, at least this part of the Americans, this administration, are largely indifferent to the fate of Europe. So I'm actually okay with some of this, but I also understand why this is a great disruption. Because we can't be the world's policeman. We can't just take care of everybody. Because if America, in my opinion, if America at this point was, if I could find an avatar for who America is, it'd be a rich, fat, bloated person like someone like J.B. Pritzker.
Handing out cash to spoiled children.
Exactly. We're rich. We got everything going on, but we're also very fat and bloated. So something's going to have to give.
And indifferent to the fate of Europe, let me translate that. Willing to pay 70% of the cost of NATO. So let's make sure we understand what some of these statements are.
And by the way, this guy's a Democrat. It's not like he's going to be a pro-Trump guy.
Yeah.
Friedrich Merz is a guy that's a Biden guy. He's not a Trump guy. So he's going to make the
Yeah.
However,
Okay.
you're right. The one thing to be thinking about is the following. Very simple. Okay, you're in a room. You're negotiating a contract with a carrier. Okay, you got one guy here. You got one guy here. One of them has been a partner for you. The other one you don't trust at all whatsoever. I remember one time I brought a guy who was doing annuity for me. I won't say the company's name, but it had to do with annuity marketing. But
Are you saying annuity?
annuities, yeah.
I thought you said something else. I was getting a little turned on.
What'd I say?
I thought you said nudie.
Oh, no,
He said you annuity. I was like, Pat.
I'm like, hey.
So check this out. So this guy comes in, and I told him, I said, look, we have one basic rule. When you talk to my agents, you're a wholesaler. You don't get to talk contract and commission and all that stuff. They said, we would never do that. That's a code in insurance. We'd never do that. At my event, he goes to one of my guys, gives a number, does a side deal with them. I went up to him. I told him, I said, you and I can never do business together for the rest of your life.
Lied to my face.
That was in 2010. You know who we were in 2010? Nothing. You know how much leverage I had in 2010?
Very little.
This much. You know what the guy said? Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
He called
who
your
the-
bluff. He's like, don't tell me what to
Yeah,
do.
who the hell are you, bro? You're small of the company. Now, 5 years later, it's a different story. Now, it's not who the hell are you. Now, it's like, no, man, whatever you guys need, we got to make you happy. So today, America is not who are you. America is still America.
Fully agree.
And nobody trusts China. So to me, this is a messaging issue that I think everybody needs to be on the same messaging over and over and over and over and over and over to say, here's how China is as a partner. Hey, everybody in the EU, in the Middle East, this is how China negotiates. Just so you know, we saw them under COVID. We saw how they negotiate. They'll steal everything from you. They will never keep their commitment on their contract. They're not going to do it. So that's that. Do you want to partner with somebody like that? Or do you want to partner with somebody like us? Who do you want to partner up with? And that doesn't mean U.S. is a perfect, like, we don't have any stuff that we bully and we challenge and we expect and all that other stuff. But that kind of comes with the territory when you got a good business.
Can I tell you, I so much agree with you, because what I've said so many times here is that Donald Trump is one of the most brilliant marketers we've ever had. But for some reason, when he's rolling out policies, he doesn't use his marketing skills as much as he should. Like, he should be basically explaining, guys, here's the plan. Here's what we're doing. You know, I've said this a million times. Drain the swamp, lock her up, build the wall. All of these great 3-word terms got him elected. So if you want to get a rate cut with Jerome Powell, cut that rate. If you want to deal with China, make China pay. It's so easy, but there's so much uncertainty in the marketplace. My one request for Trump is just be very clear on your messaging, and America will be with you. There's so much uncertainty, and you're adding to the chaos by not being clear. I think he could do better on the messaging.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen there. The reality of it is that we're still in the thick of things, and it doesn't look like a deal is around the corner yet, specifically with one country everybody's looking at, which is China.
And all the markets love the India news today.
That's
They're
right.
Green.
I had no idea what was going to happen with the Yetis. I had no idea. When our team said, Pat, they're not going to last, like this, all of it was gone. Next thing you know, we were swamped by messages of, Pat, can we get additional Yetis to do collaboration with Valuetainment and Future Looks Bright? The next one is here. Now, keep in mind, these will go very fast. Rob, if you want to play this clip, we got different ones. These are based on what many of you guys asked. This is the Future Looks Bright Yeti, whether it's a pink one, whether it's the red one, whether it's the Tiffany blue or the white. These seems to be, this one seems to be, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. Yeah, or even a smaller one that you got. And on top of this, Rob, if you can also go to the website, there are, I think it's 10 coolers that we got. A couple people asked for
Only
coolers.
10?
I just got 10 of them. We're like, let's just see if there's a market
I
for it.
guarantee you that they'll be gone before
Well,
we're
they
done with the
asked,
episode.
I said, let's get 10
Those
and
are
let's see how it does.
sick.
Look at that. Look how sick that is with Future Looks Bright right on top of it.
So badass.
So vtmerch.com, go place your order. Be the first to get it because these things will go very quickly. Again, it is limited supply and they're absolutely sick. When you go to work and you have this Valuetainment logo and the Future Looks Bright, it looks insane. Okay, again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order with the Yeti collaboration.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.